We've raised them with the interim government in Afghanistan. The interim government in Afghanistan has not only assured us that they will address our security concerns, but they also immediately acted to catch the terrorists involved in this incidents, are conducting their own investigation. We too will be conducting our own investigation. I have not recalled my ambassador from Afghanistan. He was anyway planned to return back to Pakistan for our own work, for our briefings and other things. And I am confident that any security concerns that we do have will be addressed, and in due course he will return to Afghanistan.
So he's returning back to Afghanistan?
I am confident that the security concerns that we have raised will be addressed, and in due course he'll be returning to Afghanistan.
Yes.
Mr. Foreign Minister, thank you for the press briefing. Anshumar Apte from Voice of America Urdu Service. My question is, since the new government took over in Pakistan, have you seen any improvement in US-Pakistan relations? And if you could cite some examples of that improvement. Secondly, while importing oil from Russia, will you abide by the price cap?
As far as relations, foreign policy relations with the U.S. or across the board, upon coming to office, I found, unfortunately, that Pakistan's diplomatic relations with old friends, with new friends, with neighbors were fraught for a whole host of reasons. We have consistently and very aggressively over the past 6 to 7 months heightened our engagement not only with the United States but all our neighbors, our partners that we have diplomatic relations with in attempts to bridge that gap. One of the places where we've seen a significant improvement would be between Pakistan-U.S. relations. This is reflected not only in the increased number of high-level contacts, both bilateral visits over here and the various delegations that have come from the United States to Pakistan. I'm particularly happy to report that an old gripe of Pakistan was and has been that Pakistan-U.S. relations have been hyphenated in the past. We were AFPAC, or the various forms of our hyphenated relationship. Now, after my last trip and interaction with Secretary Blinken, we both announced that we are officially dehyphenated, or if we are to be hyphenated, then we are PAC-US rather than anything else. And I think that's it might seem small, but it is a long-standing ambition of ours. And let me contextualize that for you. For example, if you look at PAC-US relations since 2001, say 99% of it is dominated by counterterrorism, war on terrorism, extremism. Ever since I've been foreign minister, obviously we discuss terrorism, but now it forms about 10% of our interactions, and we discuss economic opportunities, cooperation in health, cooperation in climate. We've had Dilawar Saeed, he works at the State Department, is in charge of business, on an extensive tour of Pakistan looking for economic opportunities for both sides. DFC, so many people who've come over. So I think it's a positive trajectory, and we'd like this sort of relationship based on mutual respect that engages in a whole host of issues. And I think that's the best place for US-Pakistan relations to be. I cannot pretend that overnight we'll address all issues. There has been significant progress, and I look forward to working with my counterparts here in the future.
Nasir? Nasir, we can take follow-up question later, and then Nasir.
My name is Nasir Qayyum from World TV, Pakistan. Foreign Minister, my question is in regards to the TPS status. Pakistan has seen the worst flooding in the history of Pakistan. Recently, the entire country was under flood. The senator from the New York, Jelly Band, and Clark, Congressman Clark, have written the letter to the U.S. administration to give the status of TPS status to Pakistan, temporary protected status, which not only can help Pakistan, immigrants in Pakistan, but the economic crunch which Pakistan is facing, we can have a little bit of relief from the temporary protected status. But I've been asking this question from embassy in our embassy in Washington D.C., but I'm not getting any answer on the TPS status. Can you just elaborate, Mr. Munir Akram?
Sure. So first of all, I'm very grateful to the United States. They've made a whole host of accommodations to the people of Pakistan post-floods, whether it's sort of money, their documents. Actually, it was reported on Voice of America. I'll send you the clip and the details later. I don't have them with me. I don't remember them off the top of my head, but there's a whole host of facilities that are available to Pakistanis in the United States as a result of the floods. As far as the TPS status is concerned, that we haven't, that I haven't got anything for you on. But I will get you the details of what has been provided so far, and once I know more about TPS, I can share that.
They just need a letter from the government of Pakistan, and as I spoke to one of the congresswomen, they said in 1 week, the administration
Sure.
will provide TPS status to
Sure.
Pakistan, and that will help greatly Pakistan.
Sure, so there's just two things to emphasize. One, they've already done quite a lot, so that information will get to you. On the TPS, I don't have a
The last question.
Thank you, Minister, for this press conference. Stefano Vaccara, Voce di New York. My question is, we are here, the United Nations is about the charter. I mean, Pakistan didn't support the resolution that was presented at the General Assembly about invasion of Ukraine. So question is, do you think that Russia did not respect the Charter of the United Nations, and why you didn't vote for that resolution?
Thank you. First of all, I want to express how much we sympathize with the people of Ukraine. It's a devastating environment over there, where the people are experiencing violence and a whole host of consequences. And what's happening in Ukraine isn't staying in Ukraine. Unfortunately, as a result of this conflict and the war, and as a result of the associated sanctions, we've seen difficult economic times, difficult economic consequences for the people of Europe, for the people of America, for the people of Pakistan. The price of gas has gone up, food security issues. We used to import a lot of our wheat from Ukraine. As far as the initial resolution is concerned, the position of Pakistan was, particularly if you sort of recall at the time in which this crisis started, this war started, it was a month or two after the fall of Kabul. We just experienced a forever war in Afghanistan. The people of Pakistan were physically exhausted of conflict, and we're particularly wary of being drawn into another forever war somewhere else. So there was enough misery and devastation in Pakistan, in Afghanistan, in my region, for us to get drawn into what certainly is misery and devastation somewhere else. As far as the UN Charter, as far as international law, as far as UN Security Council resolutions and their implementation, Pakistan has time and time again emphasized that we support the United Nations and international law and all that comes with it. But we also note that unfortunately we are in a situation where you get to pick and choose, and where international law suddenly becomes binding between Ukraine and Russia. It's not so binding for the people of Palestine, for the people of Kashmir, the people of Iraq. I believe if this sort of hypocrisy was to end, it'd be easier for us to get the consensus on this issue.
Thank you very much. We'll take last question with Mr. Lodi, and then we'll finish. I'm sorry, it has taken much longer than usual.
Concert TV?
My question is there any new development for the issue of Kashmir, and very soon Kashmiri can free from terrorism of Indian government?
So, to the sort of, it furthers a point to the gentleman who asked the question before you, that when it comes to the issue of Kashmir, unfortunately, the world is content that UN Security Council resolutions go unimplemented, that what India has done in August 2019, unilaterally usurping the United Nations recognized internationally disputed territory of Jammu and Kashmir, is absolutely condemnable. It is outrageous. I think it was particularly bizarre that I was at the UN Security Council yesterday. The Presidium is with India, the same India who's advocating for reform to multilateralism, but will not allow the UN Security Council resolutions on Kashmir to be implemented. They'll advocate for reform to multilateralism at the United Nations one day. Then they'll advocate for bilateral solutions to Kashmir the next day, and ultimately settle for a unilateral usurpation of internationally recognized disputed territory within Kashmir. I think this hypocrisy speaks to the heart of what is wrong here at the United Nations, or the dysfunction here at the United Nations. Surely, no member who refuses to recognize UN Security Council resolutions deserves to sit on the UN Security Council.
Thank you very much. We will finish if Foreign Minister allows for follow-up.
Very last
questions.
one, please. I'm late.
One because it takes us so longer. Yeah, Azim.
Mr. Minister, you didn't answer the second part of my question, and that was, is there any possibility of fear of rising tension between India and Pakistan across the border? Because all this, at a multilateral organization like the United Nations, how the things are going on, accusing each other about terrorism and counter-terrorism. Will that dossier be available to the media?
I'm sure it will. Hopefully it will be. I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Never been before.
Well, the Interior Minister presented it to the media, verbally at least. We've already shared it with the UN Security Council members. I'll find out. If not now, hopefully soon. It'll be available to the media. And as far as tensions between India and Pakistan are concerned, or the tension between our two countries has reached this point because of the actions of August 2019. In order for us to address the issue of terrorism, to address my concerns of the issue of terrorism, to address India's concerns of the issue of terrorism, I think it would be appropriate for us to engage productively on this issue. In order to do so, the flagrant violations of international law, of human rights, of everything under the sun on August 2019 must be reviewed. The Pakistan People's Party, you know, that my mother, Shaheed Mohtarba Benazir Bhutto, her entire life advocated for peace with India. Consistently advocated for peace and engagement with India. She believed that it was in the benefit of the people of India, in the benefit of the people of Pakistan, for us to live peacefully amongst each other. It was our government in 2010 that for the first time after 1954 unilaterally started trade with India. Because we knew that we were grabbing onto the third rail of Pakistani politics, taking all the associated political risks, being called traitors and everything else on the streets and the protests of the extremists against us. But we knew that we were doing so in good faith. And we had the reciprocal leadership on the other side who perhaps would be able to take similar brave stances within their own political context. We no longer feel we have those sorts of rational partners on the other side of the border today. We believe that the August 2019 incidences have shut the door, even for political parties such as mine who have long advocated for engagement and peace with India. We no longer have the domestic political space to do so after that incident.
Thank you very much.
My question about price cap was Russian oil.
Yeah, price cap. एक तो अभी तक हम up until now we actually haven't received, nor are we getting any oil from Russia. We are wheat का एक purchase हम कर रहे हैं. पाकिस्तान का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो रशियन तेल के लिए बना हुआ नहीं है. भारत का जो इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है वो रशियन तेल के लिए बना हुआ है. हाँ, हम इनके साथ इंगेज कर सकते हैं किसी मुस्तकबिल में ऐसा निज़ाम पैदा हो, मगर जल्दी ऐसे इम्कान नहीं है. एंड एज फार एज discounted rates, no one is giving discounted rates for oil these days. That's just not that's not a reality. It is true that we're actively pursuing ways and means to address the energy shortfalls and difficulties we're facing in Pakistan. After the conflict in Ukraine and with Russia, Europe relied on oil from Russia, not Pakistan. Europe relied on gas from Russia, not Pakistan. The places that we relied from, where we used to buy our resources from, now the Europeans and the Western world are going to them and crowding out that market for us. So it's an incredibly difficult situation, and I believe we must engage in whatever way we can to meet the needs of our people. But the concept of discounted Russian oil is a truck ki bati hai.
वज़ीर ख़ारजा बिलावल भुट्टो ज़रदारी न्यूयॉर्क में G70 विजारती इजलास के लिए मौजूद हैं. न्यूयॉर्क में प्रेस कॉन्फ्रेंस करते हुए उन्होंने कहा कि पायदार तरक्याती अहदाफ के हुसूल के